All right, first time today, we'll get some ticket texts. We will get back to the phones as well. Wings, another disgusting performance. Arizona walks in and does the deed. It's 7 straight. They're not close. The effort is at a minimum, you could say lacking. At a maximum, you could say on some nights they look like they don't want to be there. And then Derek Lalonde with a ridiculous remark last night about, start of the season, nobody thought we'd make it. You can take that down the line. So I'd like to know where you're at, who bears the most blame. Hey, 6 playoff teams have fired their coach. You think Lalonde should be on the block? And are we ready to just start talking about Steve Yzerman as someone who puts his pants on the same way that we do? Not a deity, a human. And it's not good enough right now. So all of that's in play.
Or maybe his plan is just not working.
And that's fine too. But my point is, it's been heresy to discuss that. I want to know if people can come to the table now and go, look, I love the man and I want him here, but the Yzer plan is off course.
Fair.
David.
Yeah, let me read this one. He's yelling at me. Everything's in caps except for his name and where he's from. So he's yelling.
Noted.
Nick from Farmington Hills says, Steve Yzerman should be on the hot seat. 5 years is long enough. Derek Lalonde should be fired, not getting the team together. This is the Red Wings, for God's sakes. 11 Stanley Cups, many playoffs. We say the Lions need to change their culture. Well, this culture is changing to losing, and it's sad. All right.
Okay.
The Wings were 2 points away from third in the division and a greater than 70% chance of playoffs before the collapse. But that doesn't absolve Stevie Y of constructing this putrid defense. That is from Curtis in Detroit.
And that's the thing. You did build a team now where the defensive core has been bad all year. Let's face it. The goaltending was not prioritized. You got very fortunate that Lyon stepped up and became someone that we didn't think he could be. The reality is this is his plan. So that depth that you signed, right? Like in the summer when Hockeynistas would call up and make fun of me and they're like, well, what do you know about JT Compher? I'm like, I don't know. I know he ain't a superstar. I know he's a winning player. I understand you need depth, but I want sizzle. All of that depth you signed was supposed to help you never have a stretch like this. Professionals, guys that put on the helmet every night and go to work. Where is it? I'm sorry, Kenny.
No,
please.
You're right about that, but the only thing I'll say to that is you were, like that texter said, you were that close to being third place in your division. You constructed a team capable of that. You have one injury, and then all of a sudden, it just disappears. I don't buy that's a Steve Yzerman problem. I buy that that's a Derek Lalonde problem.
Okay, and that's why I've said, Kenny.
Thank you, David.
That is not what Kenny said.
No. And I also agree with you at the same time that you can take Steve Yzerman off the cross now. He's not a saint, He's not infallible. He makes mistakes.
So we can just talk like
he's
humans.
a human being. He's a GM. Not everything he does is going to work.
So he's been knocked.
That's not what I said either, David.
Oh, my God, Kenny.
Wow.
About to jump over this console and punch this man.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
Let's go to Ben, 97. Well, I'm sorry, Kenny, you understand how funny that is. It's absurd. Everyone knows you didn't say it. Go to Ben, 97.1. Hi, Benny.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I could be better, but, nothing a nicotine pouch can't help. But,
Nothing a little Zins won't get you by with. I got you.
That's right. I agree with Kenny 100%. I don't think this is a Steve Yzerman problem, and I honestly, to go to Rico's point, I don't think, he thinks that his plan is working, which is why he signed all these guys in the offseason and because he thinks that he's not getting it through the draft. But the Lalonde thing, I never call into the radio shows, guys, but, man, that Lalonde comment, which I didn't hear, and I listened to the post-game comments on YouTube from the Red Wings, that wasn't in there. And it's maddening. It's, to see a team do so well through January and February and just do so poorly after we lose Larkin, which the other thing is this isn't even a one-off thing. This happened in December when Larkin went out after the Ottawa game. We did the exact same thing. We imploded. And it just doesn't make any sense. And the lackadaisical response from Lalonde is just, to me, it's unacceptable. And you just, I gave the guy a chance for a long time, and I totally get it. But at the end of the day, it's like, that's the straw that broke the camel's back for me.
And Ben, you know what's interesting too? Everyone who knows Steve Yzerman knows this guy runs hot. He is the ultimate competitor. This is killing him. Can you imagine what his response to Lalonde's comment was? It's unfathomable.
No, I can't imagine that. Yeah, I mean, I imagine him sitting in in the suite listening to that and just gritting his teeth. But yeah, I just, I'd like to see something. But one thing about Yzerman, like you guys are saying, like taking him off the cross is like one thing that's frustrating to me is, you're going through a stretch like this, which is the second time we've gone through this, where the defense is just absolutely collapsing. And it's like you got a star defensive player, young guy, who's already proven he can come up and play NHL minutes. And, how about you shake stuff up? And how about you, healthy scratch some guys like Petrie or whoever and get some of this young blood in there. I mean, we got Albert Johansson too, and Steve Yzerman has been singing his praises. So it just doesn't make any sense.
Unfortunately, the second we thought about bringing up Simon Edvinsson, he actually just got injured. So I don't know how long-term it is, but yeah, no, that happened actually fairly recently. Otherwise, yeah, you'd be 100% right on that.
No, Ben's not wrong. Like, look, I think something Kenny said, and I agreed with it then, and I think it bears repeating now. You don't get to pimp how good your system is if you can't draw upon it.
When you don't see the system.
It's just hard for people, and I admit, right, I'm not Don Cherry. I mean, I watch and I follow them, and if they get good, I'll watch a lot more. The reality is, no, I'm not going to claim to know the entire system. I have too many other things to pay attention to. The point is, you can't keep talking about how good it is if none of the guys ever play here. Like, if the system's as good as it is, it shouldn't be just about a Johansson or about an Edvinsson. It has to be about that it is assisting me in the dog days of the season. Let's face it, the only injury you have of note, yes, it's Dylan Larkin. And yes, maybe we've underrated Dylan Larkin for a long time. Maybe his importance is showing right now, but it doesn't account for why this team looks short on effort every night. Even an idiot like me can see that. It's lazy. It's not. There's no pace to it. There's no urgency to it.
No, it kind of looks like everybody is looking for somebody else to be that catalyst, to be the spark, to end the streak. And, they're all just skating around like, okay, is it going to be you? Is it going to be you? Like, it's almost like it's a rudderless ship. Like, they don't seem like they know how to win, but it's almost like they've forgotten how to win.
But we're also in the same problem, right? Like, we talk about it's a double-edged sword. So on one hand, hey, they got more guys in the league with 10 goals than anybody else. Right. You know what else they don't have? A 40-goal scorer, a 30-goal scorer.
Somebody who just steps up and says, all right, guys, I got this. Hop on my back.
And
Let's go.
DeBrincat is supposed to be that. And maybe he gets there by the end. But the point is, you need a couple of those. You need weapons. Because those 10-goal guys, that's not going to carry you. 248-539-9797. Dominic's up next. Dom, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, what's going on, Mike? How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good. I'm a young fan. I'm only 21 years old, but I've been pretty passionate about this team this year, and I'm super frustrated. I think Malone's comments are really soft, and there's definitely an issue there. And I'm frustrated with a lot of guys on this team. I mean, you have several veterans that we signed, including Kane. Everybody knows what he's about. JT Comper won a cup with the Avs in 2022, and Daniel Sprong made a deep run with the Kraken in the playoffs last year. Like, this is a time when those guys need to start stepping up, and I'm not seeing it. I just don't think that there should be this bad of an explosion just from Larkin being gone. It looks like Lucas Raymond is the only one that wants to be there, and he's 21 years old. It's just ridiculous.
So if this crumble continues, if they don't make the playoffs, where are you at with the Yzer plan?
I'm done with it. I mean, it's 5 freaking years, man. It's been long enough. We're not seeing him do the things that he needs to do. Like you touched on, only 2 of his draft picks are playing, and I feel like we got guys in the minors that are ready to go. And obviously, Kenny just said that Edvinsson is hurt, which we can kind of scratch that off the table. But there's things that can be done here, and I feel like it's just not happening. And I'm ready for a change. I'm ready to make something happen. It's time.
No, and again, that Lalone comment, I know it's emotional radio host blather. I don't want to anger any of you. The comment bothered me as a sports fan because I can apply my rage to any sport. Baseball, football. It could be NCAA tournament. Hey, you started out 20-4. You've lost 8 of your last 9 and you're on the bubble. Well, no one believed in us at the start. Stop.
I think
I wasn't
No,
pointing
you're good. I was agreeing with you. I think it angered me for the reason that it felt defeatist almost. It felt like, well, we made it this far. It was a good year. Pack it in. I'm like, no, what are you talking about, man? We're still on the bubble.